It is the sixth day since Tanzania had its election, and still the unrest, the protest in the country continues. Tonight, what we are going to bring you is that today, the President Samia Suluhu has sworn in with a ceremony which was mostly or actually mainly by military parade. And also the African Union has released a statement congratulating President Samia Suluhu, and some African presidents have reacted to her winning the election. Now, in all this, these are the three things we are going to look at. Hello, I am Mahlet Ayele, your host at Connect Africa. Now, in the swearing of President Samia Suluhu, what we observed is that actually it was full of a military at a military parade ceremony. So what is interesting is that Samia Suluhu claims that she has won, or her party has got, the Chama Punduzi political party has got 97% of the vote. However, this inauguration, this ceremony of her election winning was not something opened to those 97% people who voted for Samia Suluhu. And that's where I find it interesting. If you claim that you have got 97% of the vote, then why not making it open to the public as well to attend, and allowing them to celebrate with you? That means you are afraid of the people. You know exactly why the people are protesting. So that means you have taken something from them. This is, I think, where it translates to. Look at it, it's all about military parade. Now, normally, I mean, in this kind of event, if not the whole continent, then at least the regional bodies will be present. But what happened is that Samia Suluhu's election, it was only few presidents from Africa that has attended this ceremony. From East Africa, it was only the Somalia's president, and also Burundi was there, the Burundi's president, and another two presidents, Zambia and Mozambique one. So totally it was just 4 head of states. Those are the only one. And Eastern African community it's a strong regional bloc. Normally when presidents get elected, or leaders get elected, at least the regional leaders, they will come and attend this ceremony. But in Samia Suluhu ceremony, where the party claims 97% of the vote, it's a landslide victory, and no Eastern African president, except the Somali one, has attended. Also, they haven't sent any congratulation message to President Samia Suluhu. This is, of course, strategic. They may not release their statement publicly, but I'm sure they have picked, or I assume they have picked, the telephone and talk, which might not be open for public or media consumption. But the thing is that, what are they afraid of? For example, you have William Ruto, Kenya, and also Uganda as well. These are prominent figures or heads of states that are absent from Samia Suluhu's inauguration. So that really is interesting. Simply, so my question is, if you claim you have got the majority of the vote, then why not making it public, making the ceremony public? Why not allowing those people who voted for you to celebrate with you? So let's leave it there. Now, moving on our second topic, it's about the African Union, their congratulatory message that was on November 1st. That statement came out from the chairperson office. And that message, I find it very, very controversial statement. I mean, first of all, it fails to condemn the act, the inappropriate act by the military or the security of the country, which was, of course, got its command from the very president that the union is congratulating, from President Samia Suluhu, killing more than so far from social media, it's actually 700 and above is the statement. The United Nations for itself, they said more than 10 people have died, but people have, credible media platforms, social media platforms are saying more than 700 people have been killed in the capital city and elsewhere in the country, and the African Union has failed to condemn that. Look at it. I would like to share this later with you, and we're gonna read through it, because you would see some contradicting statements there. Now, you all know that, I assume you all know that the new chairperson of the African Union took the position in February this year. He is from Djibouti. This time around, it was the Eastern African countries' turn. You know, there is a quota every time to elect the African Union Commission chairperson. So it's Djibouti's, the foreign minister of Djibouti that ran for this election has got the position. Look, this is hopefully you will be able to see it on the screen, and I'm gonna read through, and because you will see then the message where it contradicts us. The chairperson of the African Union Commission, His Excellency Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, takes note of the results of the presidential election in Tanzania and congratulates Her Excellency President Samia Suluhu Hassan for her victory. Look at it now. The very opening of this statement is a congratulation message. And in fact, let me see if there is a title. Look, Chairperson of the African Union Commission congratulates Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan on election victory, reaffirms support for Tanzania. So whatsoever the very essence of message, the central message of this statement is a congratulatory message. Okay, now let's read, let's continue reading through. The chairperson deeply regrets the loss of human life during the post-electoral protests and extends his sincere condolences to the families of the victims. Okay, just extending a condolence to the families of the victims. He underscores, meaning the chairperson, underscores the imperative of upholding fundamental rights and freedoms, including the right to peaceful assembly and expression, and encouraging the authorities to safeguard these rights within the framework of the law. He also calls on citizens to exercise their rights in a peaceful and responsible manner. Okay, now they congratulate, and then they extend, the chairperson extends his condolence. Now the next paragraph is, the chairperson recalls the principle of the African Charter on democracy, election, and governance, in particular, respect for the rule of law. human rights, fundamental freedoms, and political pluralism, which are the cornerstones of democratic and stable societies. I mean, from what point to where you are going? You already have congratulated this president. Now you are trying to tell us these are the principles of the African Union Commission, in which you don't say it directly, but Tanzania has failed, the government particularly has failed to respect those pointers or to be coherent with those values of the African Union Commission, to which it is a member, right? So you are afraid, you cannot condemn the action. Instead, you are extending just condolences. I mean, for how long the African Union keeps doing this, just extending condolences to the victims. And then you try to lecture us what are the principles of the African Union Commission. Well, say that because of this and that, Tanzania, the government of President Samia Suluhu, has failed to respect these principles or these values. And this is the result. What happened is because of this and this, or so and so. And also the inappropriate action of security, which was commanded by the government itself, killing 700 people for asking their rights because they were denied of protesting or demonstrating, because their leaders, that or the political party which they are subscribed to, are in jail, are imprisoned. And they are asking for their release. They're asking the election also has to include those political figures, those opposition leaders. And all this is denied, and you are not saying anything. And this is why I find it a very controversial. You know, you congratulate, and then you try to lecture, the people have the right to assemble, and this and that, and these are the values of the African Union Commission. So, and then the last paragraph says the African Union reaffirms its readiness to support the people and government of Tanzania in their efforts to preserve peace, national cohesion, and democracy. Well, you are just not in this statement, you are supporting the government because the people are saying that we have not voted for you, our people are in jail, we have been denied of our freedom of speech, have been taken away, we cannot protest, we don't have freedom of speech. All these are the things that they are expressing. So what you are doing is that, I mean, although in this statement that the chairperson says he is reaffirming, or his commission is reaffirming and readiness to support the people and the government of Tanzania, I think you better say it, just reaffirm to support the government of Tanzania, because you clearly have left out the people. You clearly have failed to mention or to condemn those inappropriate reactions taken by the security of the government. So this is a very controversial meeting. I think controversial is it's an understatement. It's a betrayal. What the African Union did is that it has betrayed the Tanzanian people, and at large the African people as well. Now there has been several images that came out, that were viral in the social media platforms, and also that came out on print media. After viewing all that, for the African Union to keep quiet, it makes people to wonder, what is the importance of the African Union after all? Do we need it? I mean, the African continent, I mean, more than 75% of the population of this 1.7 billion people is youth, and the youth are protesting. So if you cannot be coherent with that, then what is the importance of it? It's like as we used to call the old presidential club, the presidential club. Not really, it's not about really the people, but one thing, to be fair, and this is actually to some extent in the defense of the African Union itself, I mean, we have to know that the African Union does not have the mandate or even the capacity or the power, if you wish, to go at the presidents of each member states, because that power has not been handed to the African Union. So who have the power is actually those little sovereign states, the member states. Not that, although it's time and again the African Union is said to be created in the mode of the European Union, but it fails to get to give that mandate for it. If any member state commit any kind of crime or something that does not adhere with the principles and values of the African Union, the African Union really don't have any power to say anything. Like, for example, to impose a sanction. No, it cannot. It's actually the Western countries or the UN that does that, because it simply does not have the mandate or the power to take major action. But in terms of a statement, at least it should have condemned it. The chairperson bureau should have condemned what's happening in Tanzania. I think that has nothing to do having a power over these sovereign states or member states of the African Union. I mean, for those of you who don't know, the African Union, it's, although it's called a union, it's not really a union. It doesn't have that political unity. This is why you see when something happens in the world, for example, take the Ukraine-Russia war, member states have different stance. Some of them supports, like will support the resolution that a resolution that has been issued UN favoring Ukraine. Some of them will support Russia. There is no united voice simply because there is no political unity. That is the thing it lacks. So, well, in any case, this statement was an insult, a betrayal to the Tanzanian people, and it was full of controversies of what they want to deliver. I think those two concepts should not have come in one statement. Condemning by itself with a headline of condemning what's happening in Tanzania, and then also maybe congratulating the president. Now, the last point in this video that we said in the beginning we are going to bring to you is that the reaction of the African presidents towards their election of the victory of President Samia Suluhu, as she calls it, 97% of the vote to her party. So look, the presidents that attended the ceremony, the swearing-in ceremony, are Somalia's President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed, and then you have Zambia's President Hichilema, and then you have President of Burundi, Nidia Shimie, and there's President of Mozambique, Daniel Chapo. These are the only presidents that came, and the missing of prominent figures, presidents from the Eastern African community, in which Tanzania is a member, that is a question mark. Presidents like William Ruto of Kenya, President Yoweri Museveni of Uganda. But guess what? I will tell you why they're not coming. As we speak, there are only a couple of months away from the next election in Uganda. I mean, before it's even held, we know who is going to be the winner. It's Yoweri Museveni. These are political dynasties that we have in the continent. Sorry, that's the former president, William Ruto. Kenya is also set to have its election in August 2027. So basically, they're just studying where this leads. And Kenyan, already the Gen Z have protested in the past 6 months. 2 times they have protested against their government, and recently also over the weekend they have done a cross-border protest showing a support for their Tanzanian brothers and sisters. So they are ready to hold again similar protests, cross-border protests. So if Ruto has congratulated President Suluhu publicly or attended this ceremony of the president's swearing in, then that would also be a cause for a third Gen Z protest in Kenya. So he's not stupid. He's watching and he knows what it's going to cost him. But that does not mean that he will not pick up and congratulate President Suluhu. That I think he has done it already. Well, that is it for now. Those are the three topics I wanted to cover to you tonight. Well, before I wrap up this, tomorrow we are going to have a live session at 4. No, was it 2 p.m.? 2 p.m. Eastern African time. We will have the 2 p.m. Eastern African time. We will have an extensive dive in on what's happening in Tanzania. We will invite DJ Boakali. DJ is his first name, initial, not really his, not that he's a DJ, but Boakali is known on social media platforms like Instagram and recently on his YouTube channel. He really, really understands the dynamic of politics in Africa and particularly in East Africa. So he will be joining us. I'm going to put the link and I will post it as well so that you could be notified. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that so far. Hit that notification bell so that you will be notified whenever there's a live stream or when new videos are uploaded. If you want to support us, you may support us through our PayPal account. You can find it in the description section. Also, you may support us as well by sharing this video to others. Thank you very much again for tuning in, and I will see you in the next one in an hour time. Yeah, that was it.